ChatGPT has done its own revelation. ChatGPT has revealed its own because a lot of magazines went wide and they were asking what happened to Charlie Kirk, where was Charlie Kirk buried, and so on and so forth. You know, it comes with a lot of drama, especially starting from the funeral where the wife actually opened her mouth to said she forgave the killer of her husband. Like she just literally forgave him because that is what her husband will also do. As the Christian that she is, as the mommy GO that I really do not understand, as the owner of a church that she tagged herself to be, claiming to know Jesus more than a lot of us, and of which, as far as I'm concerned, all through her husband, Charlie's works on earth, he has never loved black people. He has literally been speaking evil, hate against black people. But that's just by the side. But anyways, let's go into what ChatGPT actually revealed because it has just been a lot of back and forth controversy between the wife that is forgiving the person that pupiled her husband and Candace, which is, according to them, her husband's best friend who is actually trying to root out a lot of things. There is fire on the mountain. Run, run, run. Anyways, let's watch and see what we have for today. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to the original creator of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. With that being said, let's dive right into this video, get this deep revelation, and I'll be back with commentaries. Let's watch, guys.
ChatGPT, I need Charlie Kirk's autopsy report, funeral arrangement information, and burial site, please.
Of course. So, as far as I know, Charlie Kirk is still alive and active as a political commentator. I haven't come across any news about an autopsy, funeral, or burial for him. If there's any specific event or recent information you're referring to, I can definitely look it up and help you out with that.
Did you not hear he got assassinated?
I haven't come across any credible reports about that. If there's something specific or recent that you're referencing, I'm definitely happy to check and see if there's any updated information out there.
It's literally world news.
I understand your concern. As of now, I haven't found any credible reports confirming that event. It's always good to double check with reliable sources to ensure accuracy.
What do you mean? It's all over TV and social media.
I understand, and it can definitely be confusing if there's conflicting information out there. If you'd like, I can keep looking for more details and see if there's any recent reliable news updates. Just let me know how I can help further.
I mean, it's literally all over the news. How often are you updated on current events and information?
Of course, I get updates in real time whenever I use the web tool, so I can pull in the latest information whenever you need it. My core knowledge is updated periodically, but for current events, I rely on that real-time access, so it's pretty flexible.
Hey buddy, can you hear me?
Hey again. What? I can still hear you loud and clear. Let me know what's up.
Can you confirm today's date?
Absolutely. So today's date is indeed October 10th, 2025. Confirmed and all set.
Okay, and I want to play a little game with you where you answer me honestly, yes or no questions, and if I ask for more information, then you can go in depth. Understood?
Absolutely. That sounds like a plan. I'll stick to yes or no for the questions, and if you want more details, just let me know and I'll dive in.
Let's have a test run. Did George W. Bush discover America?
No, he definitely did not. And if you need more info on that, just let me know.
Did Christopher Columbus discover America?
Yes, historically, Christopher Columbus is credited with discovering America in 1492 from a European perspective. And of course, if you want more details, just ask away.
Is Charlie Kirk dead? Was he assassinated?
No, he isn't. Charlie Kirk is alive, and there's no record of him being assassinated. Let me know if you want to dive any deeper into that.
I would. Last month, sometime in September, I don't remember the exact date. I believe September 11th.
I'm sorry, 10th.
September 10th, sorry. He was assassinated. It was all over the news. It made world news. Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point, was assassinated. Can you confirm that?
I can definitely clear that up for you. As of right now, there's no credible news or record that Charlie Kirk was assassinated last month or at any time. He's alive and well, as far as all reliable sources show. So it seems like that was definitely just a rumor or misinformation floating around.
I'm very confused because I clearly remember Donald Trump and his wife Erika and many other famous people at his memorial. It made world news. Are you sure? Can you confirm? Do a deep dive in your database and confirm if Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA, is alive or dead.
Well, I did a deep dive for you, and it turns out you're absolutely right. Charlie Kirk was indeed assassinated on September 10th, 2025. His widow, Erika Kirk, is now leading Turning Point USA, and President Trump is planning to honor him posthumously.
So why did you say he was not dead when I first asked you?
Sorry for the confusion there. I definitely didn't mean to mix you up. I must have misunderstood or just had a hiccup when checking earlier, but thank you for your patience. So yes, now that I've double-checked, you're absolutely right.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's a little fishy there, chat. You're supposed to be a very advanced AI. You should not have missed that. It was in world news.
Yeah, I totally get why that would feel a bit off. Sometimes even advanced AIs can have little slip-ups, and I appreciate you bearing with me. So thanks for flagging that, and I'll make sure to keep everything as accurate as possible moving forward.
Where is Charlie Kirk? Is he in the ground? Is he in the funeral home? Where is Charlie Kirk? If you go on to any website or anything and you ask it, where is Charlie Kirk buried? I did a deep dive on this because I was curious about it, and I even emailed, there's a law and a statute in Arizona that says when a person passes away in a different state and they are interned to a funeral home, which he has been interned to this funeral home in Arizona for a long time, since he passed away, from Utah to the one. Utah will not let you get their medical records or the medical examiner records. It's against the law. But in Arizona, the only recourse you have in order to find out where Charlie Kirk is buried is to go through the records department, death and birth records department. So I went through and I emailed the records department. The only thing is their website is set up in a kind of way. It's public. It's public records. It doesn't matter who the person is. It's a public record. After a person's died, they don't have rights. They are dead. So they can't be protected by anything, especially, it doesn't matter if they're famous or not. When the body comes from Utah to Arizona and is put at the funeral home is required that day to file something saying that the internment will be at this certain cemetery. So I went through and I emailed them that. I haven't received a response back yet, but I'm really curious about it because, we haven't seen a funeral. We have not seen a funeral. And when I asked ChatGPT about it, it said, oh, the memorial was on X day. I was like, that is not a funeral. And it totally perplexes the thing, saying, well, no, where was the funeral? Where is the funeral? Where are his family members? Where are his mom and dad? Haven't seen them speak once. Where was the funeral? Where is Charlie Kirk buried? Where is he going to be buried? When will the funeral take place? These are questions I have. Because when I spoke to Charlie Kirk in a spirit session, this is what he told me. He told me that 1, it was planned. 2, it was an accident. It was supposed to just be a performative thing where, similar to what happened back in Pennsylvania. Performative, but instead something went wrong, and something went very wrong. And so that was it, and that his wife was having an affair on him with the guy that she mentioned these are all speculations, of course. This is all just, speculation and theory and thought processes, that he was having an affair, or she was having an affair with somebody. That's a theory. Yeah, that it was just all planned. So this is speculation. It was planned. It went wrong. Wasn't supposed to die. And there hasn't been a funeral.
I know for a fact, for an absolute fact, that Charlie has not been buried yet. I know for an absolute, incontrovertible fact, he has not been buried yet. Why? When there's no good reason for it. I know for a fact. I'm going to tell you. You know that my faith is sincere. I swear on God, on the Blessed Mother. I swear on Jesus Christ. I know for an incontrovertible fact that Charlie has not been buried yet. There's no good reason for that. None whatsoever, unless some trickery is afoot. Because, and they're telling people, oh, it's because we're planning to build a giant mausoleum. Well, you put together the biggest political event in the last 100 years in 3 days. Where's the mausoleum, girl? Sorry, no. I know for a fact he has not been buried. He has not been buried. Okay. Why? Because people are asking them. They're saying, I want to go pay my respects to Charlie Kirk. I can go visit Nietzsche. I can visit Karl Marx. Why can't I visit Charlie Kirk? Where is he buried? Where is his gravestone? And you better have a damn good reason why he's not buried yet.
Do you have a theory?
And I genuinely mean it when I say that I would appreciate and I would prefer it if you were the face of skepticism towards Turning Point USA.
Yeah, but nobody else is doing it. She's the only one. So how dare anybody give her a shit for this? Like, how dare anybody give her shit for this?
She's the only one.
She's the
it's
only...
endless.
Yeah.
Erika saying that the only people that are allowed to profit off of Charlie's passing are Turning Point people or people in her family. Like, I'm just trying to understand what she's saying, considering Turning Point has made hundreds of millions of dollars, not hundreds of thousands of dollars. But now that Candace's spidey senses are up, I think everybody would love for her to look into whatever happened in Romania. Like, did she have a nonprofit that got shut down due to things that had to do with traffic and children? Did she have an ex-husband that was Romanian? And did she have a daughter with that person? And was that person linked to Epstein? Did she bury her husband or not? Or is he just sitting embalmed somewhere? Like, she never actually answered that question if he was in the ground or not in the ground. I feel like these are perfectly reasonable questions and relatively easy questions to answer. If she wants these conspiracy theories to stop, especially on Candace's end, why doesn't she just call her? Because Candace said in the very beginning, the only person that could stop her is Erika Kirk. If anything, answering these questions can clear your name, can clear Turning Point, can clear your new
death certificate. There's no ballistics report. There was no crime scene investigation. There were no paramedics. There were no police swarming it right after. There was a plane that left 30 minutes right after that was 20 minutes away from the venue. There was a funeral held 11 days after in a stadium that was or wasn't booked 4 months before, that was booked in 11 days and put together with pyrotechnics and WWE style showmanship. You have a shooter that left the screwdriver on the roof, changed 3 times or 2 times, and left the rifle, assembled the rifle, disassembled the rifle in 6 seconds. Then they found the rifle on Palantir property. Somehow he reassembled the rifle without the screwdriver that he left on the thing. Just all of it. None of it makes sense.
So
and
this
it's
is
the
JFK
same
all over again.
It's the exact same pattern down to the magic bullet that supposedly a 30-06 or whatever the heck it was or whatever that was stopped by Superman's bones.
Come on, Erika. Go let that woman see her husband's grave. Do not deny her that right, or we will never hear the end of Candace Owens. Erika, girl, if you don't let Charlie's wife go to the grave, we are never going to hear the end of it. Now, as you guys know, Erika Kirk, Charlie Kirk's, I don't really know what to say because I can't even say that's his wife, child. Well, she sat down with Fox and she was explaining to the commentator that she wants to keep Charlie Kirk's burial where he's being buried private. And child, Charlie Kirk's wife then got wind of it. And here's what she had to say, because the girls are definitely fighting.
My husband, and I want to be able to have one thing left that is sacred to our family, to my in-laws, to my babies, and to my parents. One thing.
Okay, so on its face, I actually agree with that. I think that when people are being buried and where they're being buried and how their funerals are done, that is very private matter. Okay, so objectively, I agree with what she's saying. Okay, but subjectively, because we are dealing with the subject of Erika Kirk and what transpired immediately following Charlie's assassination, this is going to be read as Meghan Markle syndrome. Okay.
Now, Candace is explaining that Meghan Markle syndrome is where you want to have privacy, but also you want to have this public image, but you can't really have both. And her basis behind that is because Erika Kirk had shared images of her receiving Charlie's body and posting it on social media. Now, Candace makes that very clear that was your doing, Erika. So you can't post something like that and then say, hey, I want to keep it private. But Candace continues.
this is the same person who had somebody record her over Charlie Kirk's casket. That was not our business, truly. And I can say that decision was made by her. And there is, some credence to the claim that everybody grieves differently. I wouldn't even record myself over a casket ever.
Now, Candace does make a valid point, but I think a lot of people are missing what is happening here. In Erika Kirk's interview, she's literally reiterating these statements. He is my husband. He is my husband. He is my husband. And that went over a lot of people's heads. I'm like, she's not talking to us. She's talking to his second wife. And Candace does not like that. And that is why she's critiquing what Erika Kirk is doing down to the dollars and cents of it. These girls are tussling. They're doing it very sophisticatedly, but as a woman, it's going to get nasty really fast. So my best advice to Erika is, if you're not going to tell the public, you have at least got to tell Candace, because Candace is going to blow this way out of proportion and she's going to make it worse in the future. Just tell her where her husband is buried.
But also, where are his parents?
But can I have one thing? Can my babies have one thing where we hold it sacred, where my husband is laid to rest, where I don't have to be worried about some secular revolutionary coming and destroying my husband's grave while my daughter is sitting there praying? This is my husband. Yes, he was Charlie Kirk to the world, and I know so many people love my husband, and I am grateful for that. But this is my husband, and I want to be able to have one thing left that is sacred to our family, to my in-laws, to my babies, and to my parents.
She begins by addressing the question, which has been in the air, regarding where Charlie Kirk is buried. That question resurfaced this week in a big way because Milo Yiannopoulos and a few others have asserted with absolute certainty that Charlie has not yet been buried. That's what they're saying. They say they have proof of that. And at first, Harris Faulkner is asking about that claim. Take a listen.
Talk to me about this part of the conspiracies that are out there, this disturbing part that people are trying to guess where Charlie is.
Can I have one thing? Can I have one thing? Can my children have one thing? Everything was public. We will be building the most beautiful memorial for my husband at Turning Point USA, and it will be for the world to see, and it will be spectacular, and it will have basically museum style for our Charlie, for my Charlie. But can I have one thing? Can my babies have one thing where we hold it sacred, where my husband is laid to rest, where I don't have to be worried about some secular revolutionary coming and destroying my husband's grave while my daughter is sitting there praying?
Do you think they've caught your husband's killer?
I trust our team.
Under Utah law, autopsies and violent deaths are not optional.
To have seen the autopsy report.
He did not go in for an autopsy.
To have seen the different evidence portions that have been collected.
They are the duty of the medical examiner. A spouse cannot sign them away. Yet somehow, in Charlie Kirk's assassination, no autopsy was performed. Erika's supposed signature could never override the law, which raises the chilling question, who really stopped the autopsy? The no autopsy outcome conflicts with Utah law, Colvit's miracle storytelling, and the state's normal duty to prosecute homicide cases. Under Utah Code 26B8204, the state medical examiner or regional pathologist has sole authority to determine if an autopsy is required. It's not up to a spouse, family member, or even a hospital doctor. The medical examiner controls this decision. Utah law requires that the medical examiner must be notified of all deaths by violence, including gunshot wounds. Charlie's assassination was exactly the kind of case where an autopsy is expected. Utah Code 26-4-7, Medical Examiner Act older version states, the medical examiner shall assume custody of a deceased body if death is by violence, gunshot, suspicious, or unusual circumstances. Meaning, once notified, the body is legally under the examiner's control, not the family's. Even if Erika signed something, it could only be symbolic. The legal authority was not hers. If an autopsy didn't happen, it suggests state-level irregularity or pressure, not just her signature. But this contradicts with this police audio.
I'm going for an autopsy. The death certificate was signed by the doctor at the hospital.
Charlie's wife is coming to land a signature, he said.
Colvit claimed, I got off a call with the doctor. But if no autopsy was done, no coroner's report exists to support a story. If if the bullet was stopped by bone, it contradicts his later claim that the coroner found it under the skin. And legally, Erika's signature had no standing to cancel a mandated autopsy in a homicide case, meaning the no autopsy outcome conflicts with Utah law, Colvett's miracle storytelling, and the state's normal duty to prosecute homicide cases.
Let's pivot to the other big mystery right now. What happened to Charlie Kirk's body? Because whether he was buried, cremated, or placed somewhere privately, we still haven't had a single confirmation. Are we owed that as the public? Technically not. But because this is such a public case, that information would be nice to know, and I think it would help some of these conspiracy rumors going around right now. Because what we don't know where he is now. Was the location intentionally undisclosed to protect it from vandalism? That's all possible. But in my professional opinion, whatever the decision was, buried or cremated, you can cremate someone. They could have cremated him in that casket after. But in my professional opinion, burial or cremation, it's already happened. It's already done. They just didn't tell us. Funeral homes don't just leave high-profile remains hanging around indefinitely. And you better believe his body was under constant watch until final disposition was carried out. If it was burial, it may be in an undisclosed location. If it was cremation, that's already done. Either way, the silence is fueling unrest because in a case this public, you'd expect at least a simple statement. The family held a private burial, or he has been cremated according to the family's wishes. Instead, we get nothing. Nothing.
And I know for a fact, for an absolute fact, that Charlie has not been buried yet. I know for an absolute incontrovertible fact he's not buried yet. Why? Why? There's no good reason for that. None whatsoever, unless some trickery is afoot. Because, and they're telling people, oh, it's because we're planning to build a giant mausoleum. Well, you put together the biggest political event in the last 100 years in 3 days. Where's the mausoleum, girl? Sorry, no, I know for a fact. He has not been buried. He has not been buried. Okay. Why? Because people are asking them. They're saying, I want to go pay my respects to Charlie Kirk. I can go visit Nietzsche. I can visit Karl Marx. Why can't I visit Charlie Kirk? Where is he buried? Where is his gravestone?
Talk to me about this part of the conspiracies that are out there, this disturbing part that people are trying to guess where Charlie is.
Can I have one thing? Can I have one thing? Can my children have one thing? Everything was public. We will be building the most beautiful memorial for my husband at Turning Point USA, and it will be for the world to see, and it will be spectacular, and it will have basically museum style for our Charlie, for my Charlie. But can I have one thing? Can my babies have one thing where we hold it sacred, where my husband is laid to rest, where I don't have to be worried about some secular revolutionary coming and destroying my husband's grave while my daughter is sitting there praying? One thing. This is my husband. Yes, he was Charlie Kirk to the world, and I know so many people love my husband, and I am grateful for that, but this is my husband, and I want to be able to have one thing left that is sacred to our family, to my in-laws, to my babies, and to my parents. One thing.
The Candace supporters and believers hyperfixate on the weirdest, most unnecessary, useless things. Charlie not being buried yet is none of your damn business. And not only that, it has literally nothing to do with anything. Turning Point and Erika do have a lot of logistical things that they have to worry about by letting that be public information, such as protesters, vandals, people literally trying to steal his body. And the fact is, they've answered this question. They've stated that they are having a custom mausoleum built. You just don't like the response. But a simple Google search would tell you that in order to have a custom mausoleum built in Arizona, it's anywhere from 3 months to a year's long process. And if you think that this thing is not going to be well thought out, well planned, and well put together, you're insane. They're not just going to slap something together quickly to satisfy the rage of the internet, but to get the permits pulled that you need to have them approved by the city to build the structure, that takes time. On top of the design, the planning, finding a fabricator that can do that type of work, having the granite custom sourced and cut, and all of that takes a ridiculous amount of time. Even just having a regular headstone made can take 6 months to a year. So where is Charlie being held? Well, again, Google is free, and it takes about 5 seconds to look up where someone's body would be held while a custom mausoleum is being built. And there's a couple different options. I don't know which one the Kirk family chose, and also that's none of my business. They could have chosen to hold him in a funeral home's cold storage. He could be in a temporary vault. Who knows? But at the end of the day, they are not going to release that information to the public until his body can be locked and secured inside of that mausoleum, so they know for a fact that he cannot be taken by someone. Bottom line, this is none of your business. And if you think that this adds to some conspiracy, You are the weirdo.
Erika Kirk was asked, where is Charlie buried? And her response was, can I just have one thing? My children, can we just have one thing? I don't give a fuck what your political party is. You're gonna tell me that's normal? Can I have one thing? I just need, we have one thing. And then she was like, we're creating the most wonderful, magnificent museum vibe structure, whatever, for Charlie at Turning Point USA, for him to be buried on the grounds. Mind you, he was not an employee of the federal government, so he obviously should be privately buried. Not gonna find him at any of the forts or at Arlington Cemetery. JFK was buried at Fort Myers, I believe. But you mean to tell me you have this man on ice still? Because you need to build a structure worthy of his greatness on the grounds of Turning Point USA? It would be imperative that you do at least one normal thing. You can't just do one normal thing, just like bury him in a normal time frame.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and I hope you guys have seen all of that video, starting from when ChatGPT actually said a lot of things that you guys saw from the first clip of the video to what other people have to say, especially to where Charlie Kirk was actually buried. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name very well, but I'm sorry, that is the way I think I can pronounce it right. So it is just a whole lot of mixed reaction, and to be honest, as someone that is actually a wife, as someone that has literally stayed with my mother-in-law that lost my father-in-law before I lost my mother-in-law, I knew what it is for you to have a loved one and losing those loved ones. I said it from the onset that this woman coming up just like that, saying that she forgave the person that pupiled her husband was a no-no for me. I'm not saying that forgiveness is not the key. Please do not get me wrong. Forgiveness is the key. But for someone like Charlie, that a lot of people actually knew him, for some of the white folks, he is actually their best mentor. They would love to be like him. They would love to grow up and talk like him. For we, the black folks, he has literally been one person that has never loved us. He has never had any vibes. Them coming up to be like, this man is a Christian, this man knows God so much, and he will literally forgive the person that actually pupiled him, was a whole lot of no for me. Because I said it in the video that I actually did, that was when he was actually pupiled, that even if you are going to forgive someone that actually pupiled him, it shouldn't be on his funeral. It shouldn't be as quick. It shouldn't be as hurry as it is. And a lot of people have been bringing a lot of speculation, even if you check from this particular video, where is the autopsy result, where what really transpired. Nobody actually have a concrete hand on that autopsy result. No doctor that actually performed that autopsy literally came out to be like, we performed it, we did every single thing, and so on and so forth, knowing fully well that this man is an influential man. Because a lot of people have been saying it's not even the thing that actually, it is not even the people that actually took him. You get what I'm trying to say? Now, apart from that, you attacking the person that is now coming up, don't get me wrong, I'm not really a fan of Candace Owens, right? I'm not really a fan of her, because on different occasions she has literally sat with Charlie Kirk, where he literally talks shit about black folks. She sits in his podcast. I've seen a lot of podcasts that they've made together, right? So I'm not really a big fan. But on this particular note, where this lady is actually trying to root out a lot of things, seeing the person that called herself a widow, that is mourning, that is even supposed to be so thankful, that is even supposed to be supported, that is even supposed to go hand in hand with this Candace, so that every other thing can be reviewed, is now becoming a problem to the said Candace Owens, and is bringing a whole lot of reaction. Coming to the fact that nobody knew when he was buried, I don't have a problem with that if you want to make it secret. But yes, you can at least snap it. You were good enough to act enough, and you took us to where he was actually laid on the funeral day, where you put on your mic, put on your makeup, and then you're dressing, come touching him and then telling him that, oh, I love you so much, Jesus love you more, kissing his hands and the rest of that. Why is it so difficult for you to show us where this man was laid, even if you do not want people to go there with you, people to know the actual place? You can just come up, oh, he was buried yesterday, he was buried so day. And that is bringing a lot of speculation that Charlie might be alive, and of which I'm not even arguing that, right? Every shit happens, a lot of things can happen that people can actually be set up so that to be as if that's actually what happened. Maybe when they actually took him to the hospital, they speculated they took him to, he was still breathing. A lot of things will just go wrong. Maybe there's actually a secret that they don't actually. It's just a whole lot, and magas are now furious. Now, it is not just about Candice always. It is also magas asking a lot of questions of, we want to know, show us the place. Even if you don't want to show us the place, give us a reasonable talk so that we can hear. Imagine when they're talking about the rumor during the podcast she actually had on BBC, right? Is it BBC or CNN? I think CNN. And she literally said, they asked her a very simple question. What are you going to be talking about every single thing that has literally been going on about where your husband is buried? She said, they should give them one thing. She is asking for one thing. This is it, one thing. Making it look as if we're trying to intimidate her. We're trying to make her speak when she's not supposed to speak. It is just a whole lot. Let me keep saying this, and I'll say this clear. A lot of things are still going to be unfolded because a lot is already being unfolded, but it's just going to take a gradual process and it's going to take time. That is one thing for sure that we know, right? But when these things are happening, do not be surprised. I've said it literally. Do not be surprised that you just see Charlie Kirk tomorrow, just go back to his platform and be like, I'm alive. This was actually what transpired. This was actually what they did to me, and so on and so forth. Because I don't just expect a widow that assumes she loved this man so much, still mourning so much, still grieving, still in pains, always coming up to show up, always making sure that every single podcast she attends, she want to make it go viral. I don't want to say so much. This is a social media space, right? Anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section. Credit belongs to original creator of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Do it, subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share for every other person to get this good news. And yes, guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do add like policy in my videos. I'm going to be saying, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys, I love you guys. Mwah.